Key residences, this is what we are going to be talking about today. And as you can see from the architecture, it's not say super state-of-the-art kind of design, pretty much standard. There's quite a lot of that. In fact, I feel this picture makes me feel a little bit like Treasure at Tampines. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's quite a normal development. But I think it'll be quite outstanding from the expressway next time lah. Anyway, let's move ahead. As usual, disclaimer, whatever I share today is just based on my own point of view, my own research, and then doesn't represent anybody else's other than my own opinions on this. For those of you who are wondering, this is Key Residences. Location over here is right beside Maju Camp. For those people who, we went to the army, you do IPPT, you try to go for a better location to run. If you know, you know. Then, of course, Maju Camp. To be honest, I only heard of that. I haven't ran inside. I haven't gone inside Maju Camp before. So, but I heard a lot of stories about the IPPT there. So, and then you have Maju Forest. You have Cavity Forest, which these two, I think later we'll share a little bit more. And location-wise, I think it is not as accessible. For those of you who are wondering, if you drive, you have to enter through Sunset Way, because this one, if I'm not wrong, is still not open yet. Okay, and then let's see. So I remember there was a viewing last time at Clementi Park, which I remember driving in this road for the first time. I'm like, oh wow, this place is really how do the residents even survive here, man? It's like really very ulu, very deep in. And then let's not even talk about how deep in key residents is even more in. And well, every part of Singapore, everyone, who am I to judge, right? Because every part of Singapore, there are people who's able to live there happily, and then they're able to enjoy the place lah. So one man's meat is another poison, right? So this is Key Residences, and then this is a OCR condominium, 999 year leasehold, which is almost treated like a freehold. It's not a freehold because we do have properties there are 4 nines and maybe even 6 nines in Singapore. Don't ask me why is it like this. So I really have no idea. I mean, all these were done like maybe 100 plus years ago, or whatever kind of arrangement that they did, because as you can see, it starts from this one. It doesn't start from the year 2000 plus. And then just a zoom in again, for those of you who are wondering. Okay. Here it says TOP 2026, but I think it should be 2024, 2025, depending on the rate that they are building. This is the shape of the land. And then it's called over here, you have some pools, and then the interesting thing is that this is the north direction. So most of or rather all the blocks are all north-south facing. Okay, this is also north-south facing. And then of course west side is not really too much of an issue lah. It's on it have lah, but only on some of the stacks. Okay, but as long as it's not shining into the balcony, I think it's not really much of a concern. In fact, nowadays, more and more people are able to accept where sun are shining directly into a balcony. In fact, I just saw a unit that is directly hit onto balcony in less than 1 week, and way above last transacted price. So well, times are changing. People's perspective also change. Last time people hate penthouse because of the the open terrace. Well, you have people like me who love penthouses. You have people who hate ground floors, but now ground floors are also selling like hotcakes. The patio are spaces that people will appreciate. So what works, what is better for the generation 10-20 years ago may not be the same for our generation. There are people who like the west sun. West sun easy dry clothes but maybe the house is brighter. Okay, so same thing. One's man's meat is another's poison. Side area, this is quite a big piece of land, and then 1 to 4 bedrooms available, 600 plus units total. TOP should be either 204 or 205. It really depends. I don't think this is very accurate. So we'll see. Currently, I think it's almost about 80 plus 90%. So 1 km supply, you have Not a lot, as you can see, not much over here, not much over here, more on the top at the Upper Bukit Timah side, and then the bottom, you have a Clementi Park over here, this large, one of the largest chunk of land in Singapore, and then these two others over here. And then these two others are not as big. The biggest one over here is Clementi Park. And then you got a few others like Foret at the top, and also Creek, all these are the main competitors. Overall add up, I don't think they actually even exceeded 2,000 units. So I would say this area is still quite undersupply in that sense. Price performance is something that you may want to take a look at, because when it launched, the average was about 1,700 plus. Now it's hovering almost about 1,900 plus. In fact, most of the units are asking at 1,900 plus, even 2,000 plus PSF. Okay, will you be willing to pay 2,000 plus PSF for this kind of location? I think not a lot of people will be okay, but then again, there are already 80+% people who already sold the place, who already bought the place. And then I pulled out a few competitors in the area. You have Frisia Woods, you got Clementi Park, you got Key, you got Foret at the top, Creek also at the top. And these guys are, I would say, quite decent competitors. And we take a look at the price movement. Okay, as you can see over here, since 2020, after we will essentially release from the all the quarantine and everything, right? I can't remember all circuit breaker. Having bad memories already. You got Clementi Park surging like nobody's business. Same goes for Frisia Woods, also surging like nobody's business. Creek is slowly moving, inching up, and then you got Key already moving quite a bit up. For Red, there are some transactions recently also, which I'm going to show you later. For some reasons, SRX is not recognizing these 2 quarters over here. So, as you can see, the price gap between each other are not a lot. And given that Clementi Park is such an old condo, 1986, which is even older than me, this is like 35, 36 years old condo, but it's still surging like nobody's business. And it shows that this is still a real competitor. And given how Key has went up in price, and this guy has went up even more in price in comparison, I think it shows that the Clementi Park is still a solid competitor to Key Residences. Will it catch Key Residences someday? Who knows? But although quite unlikely, since both don't really have a lease decay kind of issue. Then you can see Foret over here. It's not very far above the price of Key. But then location wise, if you ask me to choose, I think I would definitely choose this guy lah. Okay, why? Location is much better. Walking distance to MRT. Of course, some people say, who knows, maybe the Cross Island line is going to be walking distance next time from Key. A walking distance, it really depends on what you depend on walking. What do you define walking distance? My 5 minutes worth of walk can be very different from another person's 5 minute worth of walk. And so there's a lot of factors involved. It's not just that. Okay. This is an example of Forex movement recently. So we can see Forex is transacting average of about slightly over 2,000 average PSF. So let's say maybe about 20xx PSF. Whereas this guy today is already hitting 1,009 for a price gap of 100 PSF. I don't see why people wouldn't consider Forex instead. And if he keeps at this price gap, then I don't see how Key can maintain this edge in the future lah. Okay, because of the difference in the location. So let's see. Okay, this is Foret over here. This is Key. And then this guy has, most of us would know like how Beauty World is like. There's a lot of amenities nearby. You got MRT there. So if you compare with this one, which is very, very far away from the nearest amenities or even the MRT, and just 100 PSF, will more people choose this? Okay. But the surprising thing is that this development has went up a lot, like really a lot in terms of price. So it shows that location in Singapore nowadays don't really matter that much, even if you don't have amenities in the immediate future. Because let's say Singapore, sorry, some people feel that, oh, there's a cross island line coming up next time. Maybe somewhere around here because you got all these institutions over here. That's what I believe in. And then even if you want to walk, this guy is not going to be at least this guy is going to be at least 10 minutes walk minimum. And then where is your nearest amenities your nearest amenities and wherever you want to buy your groceries lah. Okay. Are there better choices out there in the market? Okay, so this is where they feel the potential cross island line is. I feel it will be near the institutions lah. That's what I feel. But nobody knows because the LTA is not confirmed anything yet. Only the first part of the line, which will be open in 2029. And then the second and third phase hasn't been out. Although they already said they will extend from Bright Hill to Jurong, which will run longer. But where exactly it is, or when is it going to be? I don't think it's that fast. Maybe 2035. By then, will Key be a new one? Actually, maybe 10 years old. Okay, can residents be able to survive 10 years of the so-called inaccessibility? Maybe, because after all, Clementi Park has managed to survive for a very, very, very long time. Will you today, as a buyer who is entering at above the launch prices by quite a bit, be able to accept this so-called inconvenience? Because when I hear people telling me, oh, 10 minutes walk MRT is so far already, and then this guy is, I would say, largely even worse. So going home is like it's quite a headache, at least for me lah. That's what I feel lah. Without a car, I think in this phase is rather quite hard to survive. And then I still have to tahan. Maybe the MRT finally comes out with 2035. I have to tahan 10 years before I get a fresh MRT. Okay. So anyway, I map out. This is about total distance about 900 plus to 1 km. So if, let's say, assuming that we get an MRT over here, how long will it take? 10 minutes. How long will it take to walk? So for me, maybe about 8 to 10 minutes because I walk quite fast, but some people maybe longer, 15 minutes. So will that be an acceptable distance to you? I think walking to MRT is not really a problem to me. It's more of like I think the nature of the place itself, even if I want to drive, it's not that accessible, So anyway, now we look at the price. I managed to dig out the price tag for March, and then for a certain stack because I compared the 3-bedroom, the 3 utility. It used to be selling at this kind of price, 1.95 for 1,700 plus PSF for a 1109 square feet unit. And this was a March price list. If I remember correctly, if I work backwards, I don't have the December list anymore when it first launched. So if I'm not wrong, it should be different from the launch price by about plus 2%, which means that the launch price should be around 1.915. And then now how much is it selling? It's selling at 2.18. That means the price increment from launch day to now is about $265,000 in price increment. Will you be willing to pay this kind of price increment for to stay at this location? After all, the PSF is not cheap, it's nearing 2,000 PSF. Are there better alternatives out there in the market? Okay. And if I remember correctly, this 200 plus and then divided by this one is almost 12 to 13% increment. I feel that with this kind of equipment, there are better choices out there in the market because we have other developments that are only increasing 5 plus to 7% compared to this. And could this be your profit instead? I mean, I'm not asking you to go for launch day prices, because after all, nobody knows for sure launch day is going to be a best deal. We have seen many instances of whether launch day prices being actually the peak prices for quite some other developments. So I'm not the kind that I'm not a fan of launch day balloting because of the emotional factors that involved. There's quite a lot of risk behind it. And then you look at this guy over here. Are you willing to be the one that is paying over this? And I'm pretty sure that this is pretty much this 12 to 13% is pretty much quite standard across all the other unit types that's available right now in terms of equipment. Okay. And could this have been your profit, or would you rather pay the profit of somebody who's entering only 1 year plus 1 year 4 months earlier than you? Okay, 1 year 4 months. So I feel people who enter this time and this time were actually lucky in the sense that developer has really pushed out the price by a lot lah. And not to mention the upcoming GLS that's going to make everything worse in terms of prices, in terms of PSF. Okay, and then just a quick view for the 2-bedroom and the 2+ study PSF. You can see the 2 bedrooms are all asking for about 2,000 over PSF already, and these are the lowest PSF units. Okay, will you be willing to pay 2,000 for such a location, or will you be willing to pay 2,000 for a location that is probably nearer to every other things? Okay, and but ultimately I think buying houses, some people may see it as a very emotional thing. They will feel that, oh, you know, it's a place, feel the place, but the numbers doesn't matter lah. I'm just buying a home. If that's the case, then go ahead, just buy lah. Don't need to think so much lah. But if you're the kind that you're worried that you're entering at a price where it's high, where it's a little bit too higher than your initial neighbor. I mean, after all, that's mainly the reasons why you want to buy a new launch, right? Because you want to level up with the rest of your neighbors as much as possible. Maybe not at the same price, but you want to cut the gap between you and them. Of course, the other reason being every single thing is brand new lah. But of course, you have to wait, and then the waiting time is the downside of buying a new condo. So at the end of the day, the verdict for me, I feel key residences is that I think at this point, let's just face it, I feel those who enter at even 1,006 PSF, 1,007 PSF, they got a good choice. They got a good they got a good bargain. Okay, because I think for such a location, 1,006, 1,007 is a good deal. I'm not saying this because now we look back, because I remember when Key launched, I also feel that it was a good deal. But at this point where there are units asking for 1,009, 2,000 PSF, I think for such a timing, you need to spend on 1 year plus. Could you be overpaying? And then if you enter today, and you are somehow for whatever reasons you plan or may have a possibility that you're going to exit in 3 to 5 years, is it going to be safe for you to enter with profits, to enter today and then exit with profits next time? Because after all, remember, you're not just the only one in the area. Why are so many people rushing into Key? One thing is because of the hype. The other thing is also because of it's brand new. And next time when you throw it out to the resale market, is it going to be brand new? Is there going to be an extra edge over your other competitors? And given a choice, since Creek is also a freehold and also much nearer to Beauty World MRT, will people end up choosing this guy, and will people end up choosing these two guys also? So we have to weigh the consequences lah. But on the other hand, if you are looking to buy and then hold for stay for about 10 years plus 20 years, I think Key is not a bad place to buy into and stay, provided you are able to get used to the location. You really don't mind staying there for the long term. You are okay to bear with the inconvenience, and then I think you can consider Key. So in short, if you are going to exit in a short to mid term, I really think that Key is to exit in the short to mid term with profits, with decent profits. I really think at this point, Key may not be the right thing for you. But if you are looking to exit in a very, very long term next time, maybe you want to downsize, maybe you want to cash out after you're going to retire, then maybe Key you can consider. After all, lease decay is not an issue over here, nor is it an issue with some of the other competitors. So the only edge that you will have over the other competitors nearby is that it is the newest out of the field. Okay, and then not to mention, there are some master plan you can see over here. Then will this push up your price? We'll see. Okay, because nobody really knows when these guys are going to be launched, because these are subject to detailed planning. When the land is going to be launched really depends on really will affect the prices of the land, because if it's launched in a pessimistic market, maybe the price may not help to push up keys prices so fast, because after all this is a 999 and all these guys are going to be at 999. But if it's going to be launched in an optimistic market, then of course things are going to be different. Okay, so yep, so this is my review of key residences, and if you feel you need help to analyze your move to see whether it's going to be safe move because you have plans to exit in the middle or long term, then feel free to drop me a text, and then I'll see how I can help you lah. That will be all we have for today, and then see you guys. Bye bye.